In just 3 years, the value of oil exports from the Port of Houston shipping channel has grown almost 1,500%. But get this, despite that blistering growth, no top 20 U.S. port has gone longer without record trade. What gives? And why is this less bad news than it might on the surface seem to be? First, a little context. In 2018, 15 of the top 20 U.S. airports, seaports, and border crossings set records for total trade. That did not include, obviously, the number 6 ranked Port of Houston, even though it was the nation's fastest growing top 20 port. Why not? In a word, gasoline. Through the first 6 months of 2019, the latest Census Bureau data available, the value of Houston exports of gasoline and other refined petroleum products was down 35.56% from the same time in 2012. I picked 2012 because that was the record year for Port of Houston trade. So, one part of the story is an absolute decline in the value of those exports. In addition, there's a relative decline, a loss of market share. 5 years ago, Houston accounted for more than 28% of U.S. refined petroleum exports. Today, that percentage is slightly more than 22%. Exports to both Panama and the Netherlands, our European hub, have each declined more than $750 million. Exports to Chile and Argentina are down more than $500 million each. With the exception of the Netherlands, exports to all these countries fell more rapidly at the Port of Houston than overall U.S. exports. That means other ports, generally nearby ports like Port Arthur and Baton Rouge, are gaining market share with those countries. The bigger picture, what makes it less bad news, is 2 disruptions in the energy world. The first is hydraulic fracking, a great deal of which is happening in the Permian Basin in West Texas. The second and concurrent disruptor was an Obama-era decision to rescind a decades-old virtual prohibition on oil exports. That 1-2 punch is scrambling the deck of energy markets and will continue to do so. At ground zero for this transformation and how the world gets its oil is the terminals operating in the Port of Houston shipping channel, which account for about 31% of the nation's exports. Because of this surge, oil is now the United States' 3rd most valuable export. We are starting to contemplate what would have been unthinkable not too many years ago, energy independence. And that's an extraordinary geopolitical game changer. Let me close with this. The Port of Houston will get its record. The 2018 total was the highest since 2014 and the 2nd highest since that 2012 record year. Smart money says it'll happen within the next couple of years. And that's particularly true if those oil exports keep growing so rapidly. From outside the Beltway and inside the numbers, I'm Ken Roberts, and this has been another episode of Trade Matters. And trade does matter. Thanks for watching.